Hey everyone, my friends, my dear friends. Alon Mizrahi here, your freedom Ayatollah and the Mizrahi perspective. Now, if you're watching this, you've read the title of this video, the title I gave it. And it's quite explosive. Now, over the past 2.5 years, approximately, I have made some sensational claims, some explosive big claims. And I want to ask you, when you're looking at reality now, and I'm going to talk about what's happening, obviously, has reality gone closer to my big predictions and expectation, or has it drifted away from them? And I'm giving this bombastic introduction because this is a big fucking time in history that we're watching. This is a big fucking time. A big fucking time. This is a period you're going to tell your children and grandchildren about, and they are going to ask you about this. Daddy or mommy or granddaddy or grandma, if we are lucky, they are going to ask you about these days. This is how historic this is. This is how historic this is, what's happening now. Now, before I dive into this video, I'm going to explain something a bit about its structure because this is not a complicated video, but it's a thoughtful effort on my behalf. And this video is going to have 3 parts. In the first part, I'm going to talk about the war. In the second part, I'm going to talk about what's happening in Dubai or to Dubai and what does it stand for in terms of the grand philosophical, cultural dynamic that we live through and process in our individually and as a collective, because we are one collective, all of us. The third part of this video, I'm going to dedicate to a certain Shia Iranian ritual, which has captured my imagination, and you've probably seen it. This ritual, this ceremony of one singer and a big crowd of people, and they are chanting together. And they are usually chanting about Hussein, about Ali, about the principles of the Shia belief and religion. And I'm going to play a short clip of this ritual, and I'm going to talk about this. I have something to say about this, and it's not about religion. It's not about religion. It's about how this ritual, this ceremony is conducted. This is this video, and it's going to be long, and I don't care. This is a big fucking time in our lives. A big fucking time. We don't yet realize how big this is. But we will. We will. The first part of the video, where I talk about this war, which is the most important part now, the biggest, most pressing issue, it's going to be open and available on YouTube and my Substack. It's going to be free. There's going to be no paywall. The other 2 parts, the more philosophical, and I call it for advanced learners, are going to be for my Substack subscribers. And if you want to watch it from YouTube or other places, I have the link the YouTube description. I'm not going to get into why I'm doing this, but this is how it is. This video is too important for such nonsense. But this is how I feel I should do this. So this is how I'm doing this. Now, what has happened since the US and Israel attacked Iran 4 days ago? What is happening? Because in life, and more than anything else maybe, in war, momentum is one of the most important concepts and elements. And in this video, I'm going to almost disregard what we see on legacy media and even what we see on social media. I'm going to address how we feel the things, how we sense the things, which may be mocked as a very primitive and amateurish way of looking at things and understanding reality. To me, this is the highest authority. This is how I see things, and this is how I interpret them. Because to me, what people believe and what people feel ultimately always becomes reality. Always. The world is made of our beliefs. Now, this is a whole entire subject I'm not going to get into now. But this is who I am. This is how I see things. And for people who are seeing me for the first time, and I suspect there may be quite a few of you, Alon Mizrahi, the Freedom Ayatollah, was born and raised in Israel, spent my entire life basically in Israel. I grew up as a Zionist in a Mizrahi, in an Arab Jewish family. I served in the IDF. I wasn't a big soldier, I was a simple soldier. I had first-hand experience in the occupied territories because part of my military service I spent in Gaza. I was a soldier of the Israeli occupation. Another subject I'm not going to expand on now. I was a Zionist, a natural Zionist, a natural-born Zionist. All of my early life into my 30s. At a certain point, and 15, 16 years ago, I was, because of my origins, because of where I grew up, because of my working class background, I gravitated towards the Israeli right wing. I never supported genocide or mass sadism or mass cruelty. This was never my thing. But because of class struggle and all the other stuff I don't want to get into, I gravitated towards the Israeli right wing. And for a while, I was a rising star among the Israeli right wing new media, a collective of people. 15, 16 years ago, when I realized that the whole class struggle, because we hated the liberal Ashkenazi so much, when I realized this whole part of the Israeli right wing is bullshit and their only true obsession is settlements and land, I moved on. And I became more and more right wing and more a-Zionist and anti-Zionist until 8, 9 years ago, I became a staunch anti-Zionist. And after October 7, literally, on the day of October 7, I realized it was over for Israel. And it was over for me in Israel. And I decided I have to leave the country. And I'm a father, and it's a whole different subject I'm not going to get into. But since October 7, Um, I have been almost entirely outside of Israel. I went back for a little while because of family business. I'm not in Israel now, and I'm never returning there. And I left Israel because of the craziness and cruelty. And this is all I'm going to say about my cruelty. And this is just for people who are seeing me for the first time and may be curious to know who this Freedom Ayatollah is and where he comes from. So this is my background in a 2 or 3 minute introduction. Now, Israel and the US attacked Iran 4 days ago with the aim of toppling the Iranian government, bringing down the Iranian system, decimating the Iranian military, and beginning the process of breaking Iran apart into a collection of small, weak, isolated, dependent mini states. This has been the Israeli plan for many, many, many years. Many years. Zionism has a plan as part of its vision for Israel to take over the entire Middle East or West Asia. And for this, then they need to take over or break apart or sabotage every country in the region. They either dominate it, occupy it, make it uninhabitable. You can be uh, Qatar or the UAE, or you can be Sudan, or you can be Lebanon, or you can be Jordan. This is the choice the people of West Asia faced under Zionism. And Zionism became this powerful in West Asia thanks to Western imperialism, thanks to the US. And after attacking one country and another, we all know the history. Iran remained the last obstacle, the last piece of the puzzle for complete Zionist Jewish domination of entire West Asia, which would become totally dependent on Israeli technology, on Israeli weaponry, on Israeli goodwill, on Israeli graces. Under this plan, Israel was to become the god of West Asia. And all the people of West Asia were going to have to worship Israel like a god or be slaughtered and destroyed. This is the plan. We all know it. We all know it. And Israel has been pushing the US to go to war with Iran for a generation. And for a generation, the US had said, no, I can't do this. This is too dangerous. This is too risky. This is too risky for the global economy. This is too dangerous and too complicated militarily. We don't have the power to do something like this. It is profoundly unpopular in the West and in the US and even in the MAGA movement. There were so many reasons, and we don't have enough ammo, and practical reasons, political reasons, ideological reasons, geopolitical reasons, national interests, national security reasons, and so on and so on and so on and so on. The US said no for a long, long time. Until Trump became president the second time. This is just a chronology of events. Epstein materials began to surface. And Israel gained so much domination over the US that the US became practically paralyzed, unable to resist the pressure of this one country, one group of people. That's it. And 4 days ago, the US actually went to war after months of preparation and fake negotiations, trying to deceive Iran and mislead Iran and all this nonsense that we had seen before. We had seen them do this to Hezbollah, we had seen them do this to Hamas again and again. This is that Trump is a dirty, disgusting, whatever we want to call him. This is his way of conducting himself. Under his leadership, this is how the US behaves. It lies, but these are cheap, disgusting, brutal, vulgar, obvious lies. There's no sophistication. There's no elegance. There's no facade. And from the language they used, the language they had used before this war, before the invasion, before the US began bombing Iran, with the intention of breaking the Iranian system and bringing down the Iranian country, and forcing an outside government of Zionist puppets. The expectation was, and even for us, even for people who belong to the resistance, ideologically, politically, there was terrible apprehension that the US is going to crush Iran, that the weight of the US in people's imagination was going to crush Iran. What happened and is happening in reality is exactly the opposite. And I have to tell you that I'm not a believer, I'm not a religious person, but if you told me what is happening now is suggestive of the hand of God handling affairs, not sure I'm going to argue with you. Because everything that led to this moment, and I'm going to talk about this moment, and this video is going in all kinds of directions, but it has a clear line. So bear with me. These are fucking historic days. Fucking historic days. They were expecting Iran to crumble. And we were half expecting at least Iran to crumble as well. And I have to say, I want to feel special now. And all of this is documented in videos and in text form. And anyway, anyone wants to look at this. I think that I have been one of the only voices who insisted no one can fuck with Iran in West Asia. The Persian Gulf is ruled by Iran and will remain to be ruled by Iran. No one can touch Iran in West Asia. No one comes close to its power. And I said this during the 12-day war, when people were again so fearful that Iran was potentially going to fall. I said, no way, no way, no way, no way, no way. So what is happening now? What's happening now is we are being served. No, there are two wars. No one is serving us this reality. This is just reality. There are two wars that are going on at the moment. One is the actual military war of missiles and bombs and ships and airplanes and soldiers and officers and control rooms and satellites. And the other is a PR war. Now, when I say a PR war, I'm not talking about the psychological warfare aspect of things, which is another thing. I'm going to explain what I mean. There is the real war that's going on the ground and in the air and at sea. And in this war, I'm going to say it plainly, Iran is fucking up the United States of America. And it is fucking up the United States of America so thoroughly, so extensively, so decisively, that the world is not ready to see and accept it yet, including many of us. But this is the military reality on the ground, and this is not just the Freedom Ayatollah hyperventilating or being sensational. In 4 days, Iran has managed to expand its sphere of influence, its sphere of military domination immensely. The US, Iran has pushed out of its borders into neighboring countries. It has destroyed the vastest and most precious military bases and assets and equipment in the whole world. American bases in Bahrain and Kuwait and Qatar and Saudi Arabia are some of the biggest military installations the US has anywhere on the planet. These are assets that it took trillions to build, not billions, trillions. Because I have to remind you, the US defense budget is almost $1 trillion a year. None of this was built in 1 year. This was built over many decades. This is a big part, a big chunk of American military expenditure for 30 years or more going up in smoke. This is what we're seeing now. We are seeing radars costing hundreds of millions of dollars a piece or $1 billion plus a piece being destroyed in an instant. We are seeing entire military bases being abandoned, burned, decimated, destroyed. And I'm telling you from my knowledge of American military history, and I'm not an expert, but I'm not a complete ignoramus as well. The US has never suffered such devastation in its entire history, except maybe Pearl Harbor. And this is one time, one day. No enemy in normal war has done to the US military what the Iranians are doing to the US military right now. Right now. This is beyond, we cannot believe it still. This defies belief. This defies belief. This is so bad, the situation, the military situation, this is the first war I'm describing. The military situation is so bad that censorship blocks practically every piece of new information about this war. And if you've noticed, we are being exposed to less and less every day. Every day. I mean, 35 years ago, during the first Iraq war, we were being shown endless footage from Iraq. The smart bombs and the cameras, they were a novelty back then. But every night almost, we were being shown night footage. I remember this because it was new and scary and exciting. Now we are almost seeing no video. I mean, understand this. This is supposedly the world's biggest military power, having the world's biggest uh, air capabilities. And for 4 days, which are supposed to be the most brutal, this is when you build momentum. The US is on the offensive, supposedly. This is when they were supposed to break through Iranian defenses. And in 4 full days of this, we are seeing no signs of American domination over Iranian skies. Where is all the footage of all the airplanes flying above Tehran? Flying above any part of Iran? Where is the footage? American soldiers cannot even dream of setting foot in Iran. And to understand how desperate this real war, the first war I'm describing, this is the war Iran is fighting now. That on the 4th day, you're already hearing the craziest suggestions and ideas from the US, from the Trump administration. They are suggesting to send escort, military escort for oil carrying vessels, oil tankers coming out of the Persian Gulf. And this is a World War II mentality. What are you talking about? Can you send American ships into the range of Iranian missiles, and they have thousands of those missiles? No marine power on Earth can pass through the Hormuz Strait right now. No country, not even China. No one can do this right now. The Iranians have been preparing for this for decades. They have thousands of the most advanced marine missiles anyone has, cruise missiles and drones and ballistic missiles and hypersonic missiles. And they have also, this is also from today, they're flaunting, airing this idea of arming Kurdish militias to invade Iran. What the fuck are you talking about? Have you seen a map of Iran? It sounds like people in the Trump administration haven't seen a map of Iran. Have you seen how huge Iran is? What do you mean invade Iran? 10,000 men militia can invade Iran? Or 50,000? Or 100,000? Have you seen the size of Iran? And moreover, and this is a big, crucial part of what I'm saying today, Iran has a military of 2 to 3 million men in service and in reserve as volunteers, as Basij, as all the other forces. They have close to 10 million soldiers and volunteers altogether. And this is only Iran. Yemen has potentially 1 million more. And Hezbollah, Iraq has 100,000 or more. And Hezbollah in Lebanon has tens of thousands more. This is why I'm saying what I'm saying. This is why the title of this video is so sensational. Because if you look at manpower, you can see that the US already lost the war. The US already lost the war, the real war. Now, the second war that is being waged right now is the war that Israel and the US are waging. And this is the PR war. And again, this is not a psychological warfare. This is the use of military means for psychological effect. Because what they are doing now in Tehran, what they are doing around Iran, is not to break the Iranian military. They have no idea where the Iranian military is. The strategic capabilities of Iran are 300 and 400 meters below ground. The vast, the vast missile cities and boat cities and drone cities and planning cities, they are beyond the reach of American bombs. This is something no Air Force can solve. They are untouchable. No matter how many bombs the US drops on Iran and Tehran and Isfahan and Qom and Mashhad and all the cities in Iran, it's going to do nothing to Iran's military capabilities. And even if they nuke Iran, it's going to do absolutely nothing to Iran's military capabilities. The strategic important ones, they may kill millions of people. They are fucked. They have started something they have no chance of bringing to an end. They lost the war. And what they have lost in just 4 days, they are never recovering. They are never recovering. The US is never coming back to West Asia. And you can hear it from Iran. You can hear it from Iranian representatives. They're saying no negotiation. This is a regional war to the end. This is a regional war to the end. What is the end? The end is no American presence in West Asia. No, and you hear what I'm saying. Remember what I said. No American presence in West Asia. This is the Iranian goal. This is what they are working to achieve militarily. What the US and Israel are doing, this is the PR war. They are trying to show their populations that they have huge bombs and they can explode buildings in Tehran. But this is no military achievement. As I've said, this does nothing to take away from Iran's military capabilities. This is bullshit. This is mass murder. This is the Gaza Holocaust and the Gaza genocide all over again in Iran. This serves no military purpose. This is the US and Israel being the shit, the disgusting demons that they are, who think that they have a license to kill as many civilians as they like, because this way they will break the country and they will bring the people to pressure the government. This is the deranged model that the West has in its stupid head. If we cause enough suffering for the population, they are going to pressure the government to fold before the US and Israel. Fuck you, this is not happening in a million years. This is not happening in a million years when I'm telling you that Iran has 10 million soldiers. I mean this. This is the end. This is the end for American domination in the Middle East. This is the end of West Asia that is built and structured to serve American and Israeli interests. This is the end. This is where this ends. Now the US is planning to send more soldiers. But what good can it do? What good can 100,000 soldiers, which is hilarious? Have you seen the size of Iran? What are they going to do? Where are they going to house those soldiers? The range of Iranian missiles and drones covers the entirety of West Asia. It stretches into Europe. Where are they going to put these soldiers? How are they going to deliver them to wherever they want them to be? This is not the build-up for war. This is actual war now, and Iran is saying everything. Every ship full of people, every airplane full of soldiers is going to be targeted. Every airfield where they're supposed to land, every port where they're supposed to dock is going to be bombed, destroyed, mined. There's no way, and now I'm going to talk about this separately. There's no way in terms of practical logistics for the US to move large numbers of people to West Asia and arm them and feed them and provide all the logistic envelope that's required to make them effective in war. And even if they did, even if they managed, even if they lose 10,000 people just in the attempt, and they still try to go to war, what if effect are they going to have on a country with Iran's firepower? What impact are they going to have? And in a week or two, tops, the interceptors are finished. And this is where when Iran launches its big, heavy missiles with no defense, wherever they drop, this block is finished. This base is finished. That's it. It's finished. We're talking about a 2-ton warhead flying in at 10 Mach. Can you even imagine the kind of environmental damage something like this does? We have seen glimpses of it in June, in the 12-day war in Tel Aviv, where a handful of those missiles demolished entire streets in Tel Aviv. And this is when Iran was using them sparingly in a war that it saw as tactical, not the war of the end of days like this war, and this is the end of days. This is the end of days. This is the end of day scenario. And I have been talking about this for a long time. I have seen this coming since 9 a.m. on October 7. I swear to God, I saw this coming. I saw this coming. And listen to what the Iranians are saying. The Iranians never bluffed once. In years and years of negotiations and delivering media messages, they never bluffed once. They never bluffed once. They said we are not enriching beyond this percent. They didn't enrich beyond that percent. They said we are not building a bomb. They didn't build a bomb, despite all the pressure. And when I talk about all the circumstances and the potential hand of God in this, if you think about all the things coming together, Netanyahu's personality, Trump's personality, and Khamenei, because just today, or was it yesterday, I heard someone explain, and it sounded very credible, how after Qasem Soleimani was assassinated, the Revolutionary Guards wanted to go to war with Israel and the US, wanted to have a big, massive revenge. And Khamenei held them back, said, no, don't do this. This is not the time. This was in 2018 or 19. And through his really unique personality and charisma and aura, Khamenei managed to hold this thing together and give the Revolutionary Guard and the Iranian military the time they need to build this unstoppable machine that we're seeing now, to develop all the hypersonic missiles that they didn't have in 2018 or 19. And drone capabilities no other country in the world has. Iran is the world's leading drone superpower. Beyond the US or Russia, and Russia especially is fantastic at this. But Iran is a class above all of them. Look what they're doing to the Gulf with just a tiny amount of them. The big swarms of drones, of 500 drones, 200 drones, or 100 drones flying together to destroy an entire compound, an entire giant base. We haven't seen this type of attack yet, but we are going to see it. because the Iranians are dismantling the air defenses and the radar that the US has in West Asia. They are making the US blind. They are causing a delay in the ability of Israel and the US to identify attacks. And every second, and definitely 10 seconds or half a minute, this is crucial. This is crucial. And Iran is working methodically. Iran is focused 100% on the military aspect of this. Iran is not fighting a PR war. It is not trying to shock anyone with the big, huge missile in Tel Aviv. This is not what they're after. They have method. They have method. They know what they're doing every hour of every day of the week. We are destroying this and then this and then this, and they are going to liberate Bahrain. They are going to liberate Bahrain. They are going to become a very serious threat for all the regimes in the Gulf and in West Asia in general who rely on US protection. And now every Arab in West Asia can see that the US cannot protect their government. The Moroccans are seeing this. The Saudis are seeing this. The Jordanians are seeing this. And I'm telling you that once the Arab street feels that Israel is about to fall, which is coming, once the Arab street feels that Israel is about to fall, this is the definite end of the Middle East we knew and the West Asia we imagined we knew. We are going to live in a whole different world. This is over for the American order and the British and the French and all this pedophile, vampire, disgusting scum. This is the end of this. Iran is not stopping before it is kicking them out. And there is nothing that the US and Israel can do to stop Iran. There is nothing they can do to stop Iran. There is nothing they can do. Just think of the numbers and the geography. Just open a map. They can never invade Iran, not in a million years. And they don't have the manpower. They don't have the people. Where is the US going to get 2 or 3 million soldiers, which is what it needs for something like this? And then it would still lose the war. It would still lose the war. The US doesn't have the money and it doesn't have the weaponry. It doesn't produce enough weaponry to sustain this kind of campaign. This is a world war level or class effort. The US is not even close to something like this. This is why when you saw Democrats going out of the briefing today in the White House or the Capitol Hill, they were shocked. They were not shocked because of what they heard from Trump. They were shocked because of what they heard from the American military, because the military told them, we cannot stop and we cannot defeat Iran. This is what the military told them. We are going to send 100,000 people and it's going to be a meat grinder. It's going to be a bloodbath. We are going to make the day of all the Iranian drone operators and missile operators and command rooms and centers and so on. There is no way for the West to amass a threat big enough to handle what Iran has. And Iran has never bluffed. Iran has never bluffed. If Iran says we are not negotiating anymore formally, don't call us. We are not answering. They are only doing this because they have full confidence that they can achieve their goals. If they had the slightest doubt, they would not say something like this. They would not say something like this. And the way I see it, the US is going to tire of this. And when I talk about the hand of God, this is part of it. Because all of those things coming together, Netanyahu's personality, Trump's personality, Khamenei's personality, and it's hard to even mention him in the same sentence with these two types. And also October 7, and where the world is, and where the people of West Asia are, where the Arabs are now. Before October 7, I think that many more Arabs were willing to tolerate Zionism in Israel. Now they are not willing to tolerate Israel and Zionism. Now, I believe that the majority of Arabs are willing to risk whatever they have to crush Israel. This is why I'm saying that when the Arab street get a sense that Israel is about to fall, that momentum has changed, we are going to see sights that we never imagined. This is it. This is it. Whatever it means, it is now. Any meaning that you can put on the word it is now. It is now. This is it. This is it. And as I've said, just to summarize this military part, whatever Iran is gaining, it is not losing. No one is going to be able to put a military anywhere in West Asia that is going to be able to threaten Iran militarily. No one, no one. It's not happening. Forget it. Forget it. It's not happening. It's not happening. And no country is going to want to be part of this adventure because they are seeing Iranian missiles and drones. France and the UK or the Netherlands, they're not sending their soldiers to be blown away at sea or in the air before they even reach wherever the fuck the rulers are still slaves and are willing to accept them. This is why you see European countries and NATO countries are not interested. They want no part of this. Whereas with Iraq, they all jumped in. Everyone wanted a piece of Iraq. Everyone, Denmark, everyone joined in. Spain, everyone. Now, no, 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 no. And as I've said, Iran is working methodically. And this goes to the heart of something I wrote about a little bit on my Twitter about the way this war is framed and about the way this whole conflict is framed. And I'm so happy I just lighted in my brain now. And I said something about this when I saw a tweet where someone said, and this is not out of being evil or ill-intended in any way, that Iran is fighting like someone who has nothing to lose. And this is classic racism. This is classic. This is something that pisses me off like you have no idea. This is the sickness that we have. This is the sickness of Western culture. This is the sickness of saying people who are not white are always driven by uncontrollable emotions. They are impulsive. They don't have method. They don't have methodicity. They don't plan. They are not strategic. They don't act in a way that serves their interests long term. They cannot do something like this. This is only for white people. This is why something like this pisses me off so much, because no country except China can compete with Iran's strategy. Under this sanctions regime, they have been able to build a military threat and a society that still functions. Iran is not a refugee camp. Iran has everything that the country needs. It's not in good shape, not all parts of it. But it is a functioning society, and this is what makes it the socialist, and it is not socialist, it is Shia and it is Islamic. This vision, this egalitarian vision that Iran has, Iran doesn't have classes in its vision. You can never talk with Khamenei in terms of class, or in terms of some Iranians are richer and we should do something more for them. They are more important than the poor, or the white are more important than the. This kind of conversation is not even conceivable in Iran. Iran is in a society with a vision of egalitarianism. And now we see how strong it makes it as a society. Because unlike Saudi soldiers, or Kuwaiti or Bahraini soldiers, Iranians soldiers don't fight in the name of an overlord class. They are fighting in the name of their society, their country. They feel they are part of this and they have a place in this and they have equality before the vision and before the law of Iran. This is now why Iran is so dangerous. This is why its military is so dangerous. Because a unit of 100 or 400 Iranian soldiers is worth 10,000 Saudi soldiers. Because everyone in this Iranian unit has a place in Iranian society. They are part of a society that embraces everyone in Iran. In principle, I'm not idealizing Iran. Surely there have been all kinds of things happening. But in terms of the defining idea, in terms of how this society functions and lives and sees itself, it is a society that identifies with the weak. It is not a society that tramples on its weak like the US does. And so the motivation and the uh, this abstract understanding and knowledge, which is beyond words, of what you're fighting for, in the name of what you're fighting. What an Iranian soldier has in their mind and heart when they go to battle is completely different from either an American, Saudi, or Kuwaiti, or Bahraini. I'm not talking about the UAE because the UAE is a joke. They are all a joke. And this is also why I'm saying that no one is going to able to create a military in West Asia that can take on Iran, and it's millions and millions of soldiers we are not seeing yet, because Iran is working methodically. It is blinding the US. It is pushing the US away and out, 1,000 kilometers out, into sea, into land, into other bases. It is clearing the way, clearing the sky. And then it will start moving seriously. And we are seeing sign of this. They are about to move on Bahrain. And the Houthis are sitting in Saudi Arabia's back, waiting for Saudi Arabia to intervene in this. The Houthis are going to invade and destroy Saudi Arabia with their drones and missiles. If Saudi Arabia decides to go to war with Iran, which is going to be suicidal. Because, as I said, Iran has millions of soldiers who are not only trained and equipped, they feel they belong. They feel they are part of a moral struggle. And if they are Shia, and many of them are, after their leader has been assassinated with the whole belief system of Shia, I want to say something really, I'm going to say it. This is the biggest Islamic force that West Asia has seen since the armies of Muhammad, the Prophet. This is the movement we're seeing now. This is how big this is. And this is how fundamental and fundamentally it is going to change West Asia. This is why I said, and I'll keep on saying, these are fucking historic days. And because I'm guessing all of you want to hear about Israel, I think that once Iran removes the immediate threat from the US, and again, the hand of God, because American interventionism now goes against the will of Americans, the explicitly stated will of the American people. It is unsustainable politically, economically, and in any way you look at it. It's unsustainable. It can't happen. Donald Trump doesn't have the wherewithal, the means to mobilize a large military. He doesn't have the credit. He doesn't have the money. He doesn't have the trust. He doesn't have the support. And certainly Israel doesn't. Israel is hated now. And it is getting more and more hated every day. So all of this is happening together. We are seeing this peak in Iranian capability. We are seeing this low in American leadership and willingness and drive to go into other countries and bomb them. And we're seeing this height of Israeli stupidity and psychopathy. But I'm just going to finish the sentence I started saying. Once Iranians push the immediate threat out and push enough American forces out, and they're about to finish this phase because they are moving blazingly fast. And I think that the whole world is shocked with their speed and how fast they are moving and accomplishing stuff. How amazingly fast. Until the US gets what's happening, this war is going to be over. This is how fast they're moving. So when Iran accomplishes this first stage, which is, first of all, stabilize the most important front, which is the front of the war with the US, create the necessary conditions for the political change you want, which is what Iran is doing in the Gulf, in Bahrain, in other places. When it stabilizes this front, and this is happening fast, the next step is moving in on Israel with actual, they call it fury. The Iranians are going to bring wrath. Shia wrath, pure, focused, scathing. And Israel has no idea. Israel has no idea. Just like Americans are now just beginning to saying, what's going on? Because they marketed this as a weekend war. We're going to start this Thursday or Friday, and by Monday, when the markets open, it's going to be over. This. So no one paid attention. But now people are asking, what the fuck? What is this? And markets are beginning to decline. Man, there's so much to say about what's going on. It's impossible to talk about all of it in one video. But once they have pushed the US away enough and guaranteed that no other military can intervene, they are going to focus their attention on Israel. And this is going to be the end. I'm not going to talk more about this point. I made a whole video about this, but we'll have to follow events and see how things develop and unfold. This is the end of the first part of this video, and this is getting longer, and I'm loving this. I don't care how long it takes. I wanna talk. I wanna let it out. So this is the end of the first part of this video, and the whatever I continue to say is going to be only available on my Substack. So